Hello and welcome to Friday Night Arcade. My name is Aaron, and this week we're taking a look at a game that I honestly and quite frankly embarrassingly had never even heard of. Battle Kid Fortress of Peril on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is a homebrew game that was initially released as a physical cartridge back in 2010. There was only a small number of these produced and released, but don't worry, if you missed out on it like I did, they just released it digitally on Xbox this month. And if you don't have an Xbox, like me, the ROM file is available for purchase through itch.io. Then you can just download it and play it on your favorite emulator, or put it on a flash cart and play it on original hardware. In the interest of full disclosure, Cyvac Games did send me a review copy of the ROM, however, they do not have any editorial say in this review. In fact, they'll be watching this video for the first time, same as you, when it goes up live on YouTube. And I do have to apologize, my throat has been killing me all week. I'll do my best to get through this voiceover, and hopefully it doesn't sound too scratchy. Anyway, so the story here is these two kids, Chester and Timmy, are going through combat training class. The game opens right before both friends are about to take a big exam, and later you find out that Chester aced his exam. However, he gets called into the instructor, Dr. Byers' office, where she informs Chester that they know he totally cheated on the test, resulting in his expulsion from the school. Several months later, the school is invaded and a top-secret weapon gets stolen. When Timmy tries to help Dr. Byers and figure out who's behind the invasion, he discovers it's his old pal Chester. So Dr. Byers gives Timmy a super high-powered mech suit weapon, and now you take over as Timmy, tasked with tracking down Chester at the Fortress of Peril and stopping him from, doing evil stuff. Battle Kid is an open-world 2D platformer, and there are shades of Mega Man here as well as shades of Metroid. You move left or right with the D-pad, B fires a single-shot arm cannon, and A jumps if you're playing on a proper NES controller. And if you press up, you can interact with stuff in your environment, such as these computer terminals, which give you clues, save points, which appear as these spiked energy beams on the floor, elevators, or other characters that you can speak with along the way. Okay, I'll just get this out of the way right now. This game is tough. No, I don't mean this game is kind of hard, but you can kind of get used to it. No, this game is tough as nails. They even warned me when they emailed me the copy that it's best to start out on easy or very easy mode just to get the hang of how the game works. And that's the only way that I could really play it. For starters, your character moves fast. He just zips right along the screen and you move from room to room. Rather than being a side-scroller, each individual room loads one at a time with a variety of enemies out to kill you, along with spikes and disappearing platforms, all sorts of fun stuff. So, like I said, the game's open world and there are shades of Metroid here. You can go in any direction you choose, but it gets to a point where you can't go any further without finding some sort of special power-up or keycard. There's these enhancement cards that give you special abilities such as higher jumps or underwater breathing, and there are numbered key cards that you find which allow you to shoot past certain blocks. So the game does nudge you along in a certain direction. Unfortunately, the game does not have a built-in map system like Super Metroid, but it does have a power-up that tells you your coordinates on an XY axis, so you could draw your own map or jot down points of interest. There's also special teleportation areas that allow you to easily move to 6 designated spots throughout the fortress. Okay, so like I said, this game is ridiculously, insanely, masochistically difficult, but I would just say that don't let that preclude you from at least giving it a chance, as the difficulty is done so in a fun and rewarding way. Every room is meticulously designed to be traversed in just the right way. There's a method to the madness here. When you stop and look at it, you can really appreciate just how much painstaking effort was put into the way each room is laid out. The best advice I can give for this game is you just kind of have to think how this game thinks. Every room is kind of like a puzzle. A very fast-paced, quick-twitch puzzle, but nevertheless, a puzzle. They're designed to be ran through. Just observe your surroundings and keep practicing. You can just run past most of the enemies unless they're directly blocking your path. There's no incentive to kill them because there's no points or power-up drops from them. Even the boss fights can be handled if you figure out the patterns. And there's a generous amount of save points with passwords. The save points refill your health, and there's a ton of them spread throughout the fortress, so even though you die often, it never feels like you lose too much progress. Also, the graphics are well done and very detailed, really capturing some of the best of what the 8-bit NES could do with enough attention. I really love the art design and the color palettes they use throughout the game. And the music is the standout star here. Seriously, the soundtrack is just excellent. Each track is damn good, so even if you die a million times, the game just pulls you back in because it's still an enjoyable experience. Battle Kid even has a death counter. Just mentally prepare yourself for the fact that you're gonna die often. Now, on higher difficulty levels, you get less hit points, the enemies are a bit tougher to kill, and the number of times you die is limited. But, like I said, it's rewarding when you figure out how to get through some of the tougher rooms. For example, these disappearing blocks. You'll have to be able to figure out that you'll need to stand right on the edge of these blocks before the next one appears since there's not enough room to jump. Or these drones that zoom towards you whenever you get too close. If you just don't hesitate, you can blitz right past them. Now, let's compare that to, say, the first level of The Adventures of Bayou Billy. The difficulty on this game was notoriously boosted by Konami just to try to thwart players from being able to rent the game and beat it in a weekend instead of making a full purchase. The result was a game that's completely devoid of enjoyment on any level. It's just one example of how business decisions from big-budget game publishing companies affected game developers and stymied their efforts to make a good game. Battle Kid Fortress of Peril was initially programmed by just one guy, Jordan Orderica, and it really raised the bar for what homebrew games on older consoles could look like. It shows what can happen when a developer just sets out to make a good game on their own without the constraints of a publishing company pushing for tighter release deadlines or forced creative control over a project. This game was said to be heavily inspired by a free-to-play indie PC game from 2007 called I Wanna Be the Guy, a notoriously difficult platformer with all sorts of random callbacks to classic older games. I've not played that one myself, but looking at some clips, you can definitely see how Battle Kid would have evolved from something like this. So, like I said, I really enjoyed this. Battle Kid Fortress of Peril is definitely worth your attention. It's just a very well done, albeit insanely difficult NES game that deserves a look if you're a fan of Mega Man or Metroid type games from that era, or if you're just a glutton for punishment. The game can be had for $10 off of itch.io as well as the Xbox store, and it sounds like there's a Nintendo Switch version in the works as well somewhere down the road. I'll put links for how to find all of this in the comments down below, and let me know if you've played this one before or what you thought of it. As always, thank you for watching, please don't text and drive, and I'll see you next time on Friday Night Arcade.